Yep, I said big old elm here's where that rascal's roosted this morning. Either that or that down there, that sycamore. Oh, boy, the most classic of turkey hunts is to go in the evening before, roost the bird, go back in the next morning, set up on him, and when he pitches down, call him right in and let him have it. You know, that is the most classic of turkey hunting. But I tell you what, even though I roost the bird, you know, about 50% to 80% of the time, seems like the bird wins, especially years ago. Over the years, I've become more successful at taking birds right off the roost. And the reason is I've learned a lot about them over the years. You know, once you've roosted a bird, there's a lot of factors go into taking them the next morning. First of all, you got to have a good approach into him the next morning. You need to figure out where he's probably going to pitch down, which, you know, usually will be pretty close to where he flies up from. You have to know if there's hens around him, you know, if you're contending with other hens. If there's other gobblers around him, if he's afraid of these other gobblers, or if he's a dominant bird in the area. Where he's going to be heading to feed, or to go look for hens, or go to a strut area in the morning. Where the water is, just like this little creek here. You know, where he can get a drink off the limb in the morning. So there's a lot of factors go into it. And we're going to be going into how to, you know, look at each of these factors and use it to your advantage. Because over the years, by taking all this into consideration and scouting and watching what the birds have done over 2 or 3 days, hey, you know, that has proven successful over and over for me, taking these birds off the limb. Bird almost looks like it's got a full band. sure got a full fan. But I can't tell if he's got a beard. Uh-oh. I'm all blown up over there. I see one over there getting restless. These over here are on the ground. They're flying down. All but the first one. All but the first one. Look at all them birds up there. There's birds gobbling over here. We got 5 birds up here. I can see birds way back there. I'm surrounded. Those 5 up there have hens with them. I can hear these drumming. sit here and watch him a little while. I'm just going to take my time and watch him here. Enjoy the show. I got those Quest decoys sitting out there. That'll hold them there a while. But I think it's time to take one of them home. Big old bird. Oh, see if I can get hold of him. Woo! What a beautiful bird. Woo! Big heavy beard. Man. Boy, those decoys sure did the trick. Man, oh man. Cool deal. Right down off the limb. What a show. Couldn't ask for a prettier show this morning. Oh, this has been such a classic hunt this morning. Couldn't ask for any better. To take a bird right off the limb. And to see one put on a show like this, sit up on the limb like that and strut and blow up and all seconds, a few minutes and not know what's going on. And then all at once, boy, here he comes in and struts right into your decoys, into your calling, and put on a show like those two gobblers did. And I took my time, sat back and watched them and just enjoyed the show. And finally, you know, take a bird like this. You couldn't ask for a better morning. Listen to those birds up there gobbling. Maybe one of my buddies can take one of those. But you know, to take a bird off the limb like this is just a really neat deal. Last night we came in here, we set up on that ridge and listened. We roosted these birds, other birds down here, and other birds back in here. I don't know why all the birds are in here right now. Maybe because there's grasshoppers out. There's a lot of grasshoppers in this area, and they're starting to pick on them. There's a lot of hens in the area, and this is a good nesting area. These open fields and fence rows and all. And just a great place to find turkey. Everything they want, including the creek, is right down here. We've got everything. But you put together, you know, you getting out, listening, roosting your bird, knowing exactly where he's at, trying to get as close as you possibly can to that bird to set up, and getting in early. It really can pay off and make the difference. You add good camo like the elusive, and add the decoys like these Quest decoys, and then that last little bit of sweet talking from Thunderwood turkey calls. Man, look at that. It produces just a tremendous bird like this, and I'm really, really pleased and happy. But I tell you what I'm going to do right now is get my bird and all my gear together and get out of here, so maybe, just maybe, one of the other guys can take one of them, because, well, easy to see right now, I'm tagged out. What a beautiful, beautiful bird though, isn't he? Well, there's tracks here, tracks there, tracks over here. Here are gobbler droppings. They're definitely walking this creek bottom. Oh, I'm getting old. It hurts getting up like that. Oh, look here. Look at all the tracks down through here. Coming down here to water and across the creek both. And the roosting down in here. You know, down here some big elms, there's sycamores up here. So it's a good place for turkey. Here droppings right here. Firm belief of mine, taking any animal is the amount of scouting that you put into it. It's what you're going to get out of it. Now, scouting turkey, you know, is really, really important. You know, you need to know where they're roosting, but you also got to know where they're going and what they're doing. You know, the calling everybody thinks so important, and it is. It's 50% of it, but the other 50% to me is the scouting. And you know, you could be out there and look for these birds and figure out what they're doing. Just because you roost the bird doesn't mean it's a done deal. You know, the best place to kill that bird is to where he already's going. You know, if you're set up where he's already planning to head to, in between there at that spot, and you do your little bit of calling, it's just that much more of a better chance to take him. You know, if you try to call him into an area that he doesn't want to go to, you know, you're not going to take him. So your scouting's real important. Now, when you come out here, there's several different ways you scout. You look along the creeks and the fields for droppings, wing feathers, you know, breast feathers, whatever. Look for tracks in there and find out, you know, where the turkey are frequenting. Then you have your visual scouting, you know, sit with glassing, keep idea where you're seeing turkeys. If you're seeing several hens right in the area, there's going to be a gobbler there somewhere. I mean, sooner or later he's going to be in there. And the other way is to scout with your ears on the gobbler. You know, listen to where they're gobbling at what times of the day. But you listen to them in particular late evening and early morning. And that's the areas to find them in. And then an hour after daylight, listen to where they're gobbling. And what that'll tell you is the areas they're roosting in. And everybody knows about going out in the evening and roosting a bird, knowing where he's at. But it can be real important to know where he is 1 hour after that, after he flies down in the morning and hits the ground, because if you know he's over there then and he's been gobbling over here, well, anywhere in between there you can find the lines that he's traveling is a good place to set up or to get out in front of him, because getting out in front of that bird, the way he's going is the way that you can take him and where to set up.
God no. All right.
Good shot, man. Great day. He's gonna whoop you now. You better watch him. Oh my goodness. Great day. What a bird. Look at the beard on him. Look at the beard on him. Hey, could you see him? Could you see him pitch out the tree?
Yeah, I seen him come swoop down, hit the ground. We sat him behind that cedar tree, and he just, boy, it wasn't no time. He just come right out to these decoys.
Yeah. Well, I know we had to get up a little early this morning, but it sure pays off, you know, to get in here early like that when it's dark and get those decoys up and get set up on them. And all that time we put in last night coming in here and sitting up there on the hill and glassing and watching, you know, and putting them up and knowing exactly where they are, boy, it really pays off for the morning hunt.
Well, it did this morning.
Man, I tell you what, it's worth all the time and effort when you can put one like that in a frying pan.
Yeah.
Man, what kind of beard does he have?
A good one.
Yeah, I knew that. I could see his old beard. Well, as soon as he hit the ground over there, I was peeping through that cedar tree.
Heck, I don't know how long that is.
I reckon that's at least 10 inches.
I was going to say 14.
Good. Oh, goodness.
Does that look like 14 to you?
Oh, yeah, it does. I would say at least that. I imagine that old bird probably weighs close to 20 pounds, too, man. He's a good one.
Good tail.
Yeah, yes. Hey, it's early yet. What do you say we get out of here and maybe go try to find another one somewhere?
Sounds good.
Maybe I can pull the trigger on one this morning.
Yeah.
Here you go now.
You ain't going to carry?
No, I can't carry you. I'm gonna have to get some of this, some of these decoys and things up.
Shoot, yeah.
All right. Good job.
You know, a big factor that we have to take into consideration is what other birds are roosted with the gobbler that we're wanting to take. You know, it can be anything from a jake, it can be several other longbeards all together, or worst of all, it can be a couple of jakes and 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 hens around them. Contending with that hen is the hardest thing there is to do as a turkey hunter. And once we've roosted them and we figured out, you know, there's several birds in the area, we have to figure out where they're going to pitch down. Just because we got them roosted don't mean it's a done deal. And if he's got hens with him, first thing he's going to do is go right to them. When they fly down, he's going to go right to them. So we got a couple ways we can set up. We can set up either where they're going, or we can set up where they're going to pitch down at. You know, one of the things that I really like to do when I know there's hens is figure out where that gobbler is going to hit the ground, either try to take him right there, or just where he's going to go to try to meet up with all them hens. Even if he's roosted with them, you know, they may fly down right here, and he may try to get to the edge of the field right here and strut around there and get everybody in at the same time. So, you know, try to take into consideration where those hens are going to pitch down and then set up for that. Because right there, where those hens are at, is where you'll take that gobbler. Boy, he pitched a long ways out underneath there.
got all those hens and jakes with him, and they're heading out there to that other field. They're gonna have to get their morning activities over with before he's gonna do anything, I believe. I think I'm just gonna sit here and wait him out. I know he likes to come use this corner. I'm just gonna wait a while. Maybe take a little break. Man, they like that. They really like that. They're coming. In the road. They really like that. They're coming. Here comes that longbeard just running across that field. He's way too far. Got the camera off till it gets close.
What a show this morning. Dang, I'm on. This old boy, he pitched down and went out with his lady friends. And then I didn't think he was ever going to come in here. Man, he's got a nice beard. Whew. I've been sitting here this morning for probably an hour just watching this bird put on a show out there, strutting and carrying on. And some of his hens had left him and kind of went off, and I didn't see them nowhere. And they were down about 250, 300 yards from me. So I just started calling real loud to him. And all of a sudden I seen a bunch of turkeys coming, but it was some jakes and some other hens. And then this boy just come running, man, across this wheat field, just a running. Then when he got right here, he seen those decoys and seen that jake all blowed up at that one. I don't think he knew what it was. But he just kind of hung up, and he was way too far. He was probably about 80 yards in. Then finally, you know, when those other jakes come on in, he got brave, and then he come on in here. But man alive, I can't believe the show that I got to see this morning. Beautiful, beautiful bird. Definitely the dominant bird in here. He's probably got a 9-inch beard, 10-inch beard, something like that. Just a beautiful, beautiful. Boy, he's got some good spurs. He's probably got, Henshaw 3/8 spurs, something like that. Really, really good bird. Great day. I'm a lucky man to see the show I got to see this morning.
You know, if we got other gobblers with this bird, we can figure out, you know, how we can hunt them. They may come running out of competition with each other, you know. And competition's one of the best things that we can have when we're hunting a longbeard like that. If there's 3 or 4 gobblers together, a lot of times they just pack up and come running in, you know, just real quick. And that's where your decoys, like the Quest decoys, come in handy. If you have one of them set up, they're going to be running to them like, oh boy, I'm the first one to get there. But my favorite situation is this, to have a gobbler over here and a gobbler over here roosted and set up in between them. And the reason is that these birds are competing, and they're going to want to be the first to get to that hen. If you know one's a dominant gobbler, let me give you a little trick to pull on him. He may even have hens over there with him, but this really works good. Set your decoy out. Be a little bit closer to him than you are the other bird. But when you're doing your calling, start answering the other gobbler. Not the one that you want to kill, but the other one. And cutting at him. Cut back and forth at him a little bit, but answer that second gobbler. And a lot of times this old boy will think, oh man, she's going to go to him. He'll come running right to you. And I pulled that on some of the slickest gobblers I've ever hunted, and that was the way that I took them. So competition can be your friend when you got more than one gobbler gobbling.
Big birds are still in the bottom coming up, I hope. Yeah, there they are. Just down at the creek bottom. There's a little creek down there. If we can get them to fly across it, they'll come right on up. If we don't get them across that creek, we're not going to get them up here. I can get him if you help me to. Man, I had a jake come in across the creek earlier, about 40 minutes ago, and that bird came in and just strutted and gobbled a long time. Didn't want to take the jake. This bird hung up down here in a creek and finally crossed the creek, came on in, and but he smelled a mouse. He spotted me, and I had to take him at about 40 yards and made a good headshot on him, got him down. But he spotted me. He came in strutting and gobbling, and he spotted me, and he's got about a 1-inch spur on him, and I'd say a 9-inch beard. It's a good bird. But he spotted me, and I had to take him, and glad I did.
You know, turkeys ought to be right when those dogwoods are blooming like this. This here was anyway. You know, a lot of times people make a mistake of not getting in close on a bird where a bird is roosting. It's real important to go out and do your scouting like the night before and try to roost a bird so you know within a 50-yard radius of where that bird's sitting on the limb. And then you can get in there and get in as tight as you can. And it will increase your chances of getting this bird. A lot of times if you don't get in tight and you want to set up, 100 yards, 200 yards away, a hen that you don't know is there will come in and intercept these old gobblers and take them off with her. And a lot of times I like to get in at least 40, maybe 30 yards where that bird's sitting on the limb. It will sure improve your chance of getting a bird.
Man, all right. Boy, that's a nice bird. Look at that beard on him. That other one, he flew up in the tree up there, his old buddy. Yeah, nice bird. Yeah, we roosted these birds yesterday evening, right here on this little draw. We knew we was gonna have to get tied in on them, the way these birds been acting. We come down this pipeline and got back over here. Shoot, they pitched off and let him come right to us.
Boy, pretty bird. Pretty bird. I really couldn't tell what that one in the back was. He was probably a long beard too. I seen the beard on this one. Yeah. Right. Pretty heavy bird too. Oh, look at that fan. That is pretty. All right.
Once we have these birds located, remember this, you got to be careful with your approach. Get in well before daylight so they can't see you, and get as close as you can get to those birds. I'm not talking under the tree, but 50 or 75 yards out where they're going to pitch down. You can be set up in those areas. And a good way to start that bird out in the morning is little stuff like little tree calls. Let them know you're there. Then do maybe a fly down, beating your hat against your leg or something. Let them know there's a hen already over in that area. And if you get another hen talking to you, you start back talking to her, because when you do, there's a good chance she's going to sit down right there with you, and so's that gobbler. Out. Hopefully we'll have a gobbler on the ground here in about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Boy, them trees are full of birds, Dan. See back there, there's a hen switching. She's coming down, she's coming down. They'll all be coming down. You see the gobbler out in front of you, Danny? Yeah, okay. There's one straight in front of you, all pulling up. Yeah, there you. Okay, they're coming up. Okay, there comes the gobblers, there comes the gobblers. Get ready, Dan. Nice bird. Woo! Woo! Man. Get him, Dan. Got him, Alan Longbeard. Woo! What a beautiful bird. Gosh, so let's see yours, bud. Oh, man. Hey. God, man.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to you. Man, boy, this is as much fun as we had last year, huh? Yeah. Look at these birds. What kind of beards yours got? Oh, good beard. I knew they all had good beards, all three of them. An old split fan there. Yeah. I'd watched him come down through there last night. And these two and fly up to roost. But boy, look at them. Aren't they beautiful birds? Gosh. Well, that was exciting. That's your classic turkey hunt, you know. In here yesterday afternoon, we saw those birds and watched them, and I came over here and they actually flew up. I was probably 40 yards out here and watched them go down into the woods, so I knew where they was at. And this morning we come in and I actually got closer than I thought we were or going to be and set them decoys out there like that. That Quest Decoy is a fantastic decoy. And we could sit and watch them on the limb. And when that first little hen was calling down there, I just, you know, it was a real light call with that Thunderwoods. It's a pure hen power call. It gave a real light call, and it wasn't just a minute. Boy, she pitched down, come up. Then they all pitched down. I could see these three old longbeards coming up through there. And, gee, so what beautiful birds, man. And then the two of us get the boom one like that. Yep. And gosh, it was great. So, how'd you like it?
It was exciting. Exciting watching you up there in the tree.
Oh, boy, it's nerve-wracking. I was getting so sore. I was sitting there, a big old thorn in my back on that tree, and I was like, oh, man, I can't move. But gosh, so, boy, your daddy's going to be proud. Yep. You know, it's like last year we roosted that bird for him, and I called it in the next morning for him. Now we do these and get a double like that. Man, I am so happy and pleased. It was more exciting for me seeing, you know, you kill your first longbeard than it is, you know, me shooting one. But, you know, sharing a hunt, that's what makes the hunt, especially with good friends. So
sure does.
Yeah, well, buddy, congratulations.
Yep, you too.
Let's go up here and get our gear, and we'll get on home in time for breakfast. Maybe your mama has something cooked up for us. Oh.
I can't get no closer than this. he's about to get in the water. Oh, he got in the water. Woo! Ah, mercy. Oh. Well, you know, this ain't that old of a turkey. The way this bird acted, I would have swore he was a 10-year-old turkey. My goodness, he was cautious. That looked like, I think he was in range right out there. I just couldn't tell through all this cedar and stuff. Oh, he fell down in this creek right here. I think that's what had him hung up. Oh my goodness, that turkey choke did a number on his head. Whew. Okay. I'm gonna let him flop on out there. Oh man. Oh boy. You know, a lot of times after I kill a turkey, I like to just spread him out and look at all the colors and all the neat feathers on them, but when they flop off in a creek like this one did, boy, such a pretty bird can become an ugly critter real fast, boy, and he is a wet mess. Oh, man. You know, it seems like everybody always telling the stories about, you know, the classic turkey hunt where you strike the bird and you just jump in by the tree and he comes straight in gobbling at every call. And but to me, it's always the ones I remember the most that you have to work the hardest for. And this bird wasn't very easy. He struck good. I mean, he struck real good from way up on the hill there. And he, you know, he gobbled pretty good, but he acted like a real old turkey. He was just real cautious, and he hung up. I thought, you know, he's probably hung up on this creek the way it bows around right there. But even if he wasn't, you know, he was probably just being a turkey, being real cautious. And the thing that works for me a lot is the old silent treatment. I had to put it on this bird, you know, and that's when, if he's answering every call, but it don't seem like he's closing the distance, just take your call out of your mouth or sit it down. You know, it's hard not to call sometimes when they gobbling, but if you'll just make them wait, you know, 3, 4, 5 minutes without hearing a call, a lot of times they can't stand it and they'll break and come on in. And this bird gobbled 3 times on his own, and that 3rd time he was a little bit closer. So, you know, give him a little bit of hen call, and that enticer, man, I love that thing, because when the woods are kind of quiet, you know, and you know that bird can hear you, he needs something else other than a call. You know, he needs to either see something like a decoy or he needs to hear something, you know, and it's just a good confidence builder for him. You can scratch that bag and sound just like old hen scratching in the leaves, and he broke and come on in after he heard that, but then when he laid eyes on the little Jake here, he balled up and come on after him. But, you know, a lot of people use hen decoys and don't ever think about using the Jake, but I have had birds hang up on a hen decoy. They'll stick up out there 60, 70 yards, you know, and they'll just ball up and think, well, she's supposed to walk over there to me, but, you know, he won't do that to a Jake. If he's a dominant bird, or, you know, even the dominant bird in his area, he's gonna come over there to run this boy off, and that's gonna bring him right into shotgun range. And this one sure did, boy. He come almost too close for my old killer here, but I just about made a mess out of him, but hey, at least there won't be no pellets in his breast, I know that.
Well, we got a thunderstorm blowing in, so it's getting dark early. So, you know, the bird's gonna be flying up pretty quick. Maybe they'll be gobbling at the thunder, I can make one gobble. But maybe if I can roost one, I can get one in the morning off the limb.